Just drinking a nice, cool glass of blueberry Diet Coke, which doesn't exist. And now let me just introduce this video by saying, welcome everybody, it's your boy Kiko1. And today we have a very special video. So, you know, I did that TAL J8, which is the Jupiter 8 VST review, and I made a patch video on it, which you can check out above, and I'll put it in at the end, whatever. So I reached out to TAL, the company, and I said, hey, listen, I just made these videos. They got a bunch of views. I'd love to work with you guys somehow. If you got some other products, I'd love to review them. And they very graciously sent me a bunch of their products for free. I'm not getting paid. They're not sponsoring me or anything. This is just a nice thing they decided to do. So thank you so much. That means a lot. So today, without further ado, we're going to be checking out TAL-BASSLINE. Yeah, buddy. This thing is nice. If you're not familiar, this is based on the Roland SH-101 synthesizer. You know, it was like, I think, early 80s analog monosynth, pretty big in like techno and house music, stuff like that. Known for its kind of plasticky, kind of weaselly filter. That's not the right word. It sounds good, trust me. The filter sounds great. And they've made a couple other ones now. I mean, for example, Roland has re-released a boutique SH-101. You can also get it on the System 8. Behringer has also made their own clone. That's another story, whatever happened there. And yeah, there's also another company, what's their name? They make the Lush 101, which is a whole crazy thing. This, I think, is the purest, easiest way to get the sound in a super simple setup. This is basically the exact same layout as the original. Obviously, it's compressed to this little square here. What I like is you can change the color at will. Hey, now we're blue. Now we're gray. Now we're dark gray, black, red, blue. Go nuts, you know? So this is a monosynth at default. You can make it poly. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm going to zoom in on this. We will get to that later. But, you know, what's so great about this thing is that it's a baseline machine. So let's make an initialized patch just to be sure. So I'm just going to start messing around here. Nice oscillator. Also, this goes without saying. This is a plugin, so it's completely digital. And I don't have an SH-101 in front of me to compare it to, but I would argue that this thing sounds just as good, if not better. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But it sounds pretty damn good. So let's adjust the filter. By the way, I mapped a bunch of these parameters to my MIDI keyboard. Super easy to do. Let's actually go down an octave. Okay, let's do the cutoff. That's always fun. And then the envelope here. Bring the cutoff down. Ooh. Let's get the resonance going. Okay, now that is classic. Let's mess with the envelope to make it ring out a little more. Let's see. Woo! So one thing I want to mention, it has a really cool feature because with a lot of these old synths, when you increase the resonance, notice? Sounds pretty fat, right? But then once I increase this resonance, it does get quieter. I don't know the exact term, but basically it loses volume, right? What's super handy about that, you got this volume compensation button, and now that bass is still there. So now you can have a fat bass line with increased resonance. Here without. I mean, dude, that's very cool. You can also introduce sounds like me after taco night. Ha! Everyone just left the video. Anyway. You get what I'm saying. It sounds great. Okay, so that's basic envelope stuff. Over here you have the LFO. So you got, let's see. You've got triangle, rectangle, random. Oh my god. It does what it says, random. And then noise, which is kind of... It's kind of weird. But anyway, so yeah, so those are the waveforms for the LFO. You can of course sync it. So for example, you know, you can make it 8th note here, dotted 8th note. With your DAW, I mean sync the tempo obviously. And then you can have it trigger with each note. And over here you got the VCO section, so you got 16, 8, 4, 2. This is the octaves. And this is where obviously modulating the pitch here. Let's bring it up so you can hear it better. Less resonance. Right. You have pulse width, which only works if you have the square here. Or pulse, excuse me. Oh, yeah. And you can, of course, modulate the pulse width with the LFO. Right? You can do it manually if you want to, if you're a psychopath. And then you can do it with the envelope as well. From there, you have your source mixer here. So this is where you choose what you're using. So right now, we're hearing the pulse. Take it out, let's bring in the sawtooth. And then the sub. And the sub is a square, I think? Or is it also a pulse? I'm not sure. And, you know, this is a single oscillator synth, technically, compound. It's like the Juno 106, where you can't have two of the same thing and detune them. You get 3 different things here. So you can, you know, add pulse width and saw together. You can just do saw. You can have saw and sub, which is always a nice bass line. Let's turn off the modulation stuff. Where do I have that? Here. Turn that off. And then you also have noise as well. And you can change the noise to white noise. There's different timbre. And this is pretty crazy. You get filter FM. So basically, all of these properties here can affect the filter. So for example, if we do pulse wave, and then turn this up, you get some weird robot noises. And you can, of course, combine them with other waveforms. And you can do this as well with the saw. Ooh. That sounds bubbly. You know what this sounds like? It sounds like this plugin called Disperser by Kilohertz. It's the exact same. That's a great tone. You couldn't get this tone on a Juno 106, for example. This is like an SH thing. Love that. Let me use that in the future. Sub. Ooh, it sounds good. And then the noise, actually. Yeah, pretty crazy. And of course, you got for the sub, you got the different octaves here. And now for the filter section, of course, you've got cutoff, resonance, envelope, mod, and key tracking. Super simple. I already talked about volume compensation. Full range envelope, if I see this correctly. Full range envelope. It's always good to check the manual before you say things that you don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Full range envelope extends the envelope modulation range up to the whole filter cutoff range. Oh, envelope. Okay, cool. Huh. I'm gonna have to mess around with that. And then the VCAs if you want to just do envelope or gate. And you've got the envelope section here. Down here is where the Portamento like glide stuff happens. And then linear changes the curve of it. I have to say, mapping the controls to the keyboard makes this feel so much better, like, than just going in and clicking everything. It really makes a difference. And there's not that many parameters too, so I have all the main stuff there. Now here's the Arpeggiator / sequencer. This is pretty cool. I am not the biggest proponent of these just because I don't use a lot of arpeggios and stuff, or if I do, I just manually draw them in. But if you want to use this thing, you just can press ARP or sequencer. Let's do sequencer. And then hold down a note. And then... Okay, hold, sorry. There we go. So, you can go in and draw with different pitches. And this is kind of where the techno origins come in with the sequencer and stuff. You also got swing here. And then you can also drag and drop the MIDI file, which is pretty cool. If we can just go MIDI drag and drop onto this. Probably works better on a synth, but it's still cool you can do that. Arpeggiator, you kind of mess with. I'm playing a chord right now. You can of course increase the steps there, or just make it a quick thing. So, you know, your mileage may vary with the Arpeggiator sequencer part. I'm not a huge fan of these in general, but very easy to use. Now let's get to the fun part. For me, the really fun part. This is all fun, but this part's really fun. Down here, Poly. Yes! Yes! It's so nice to have this. It becomes a 6-voice Poly synth. Oh. And now let's go back to that weird thing we were doing here. What do we have going on here? Yes, here we go. Oh, that sounds cool. Oh, yes, I love it so much. Oh my god. So yeah, this turns this monosynth, traditionally monosynth, into a 6-voice polysynth. So it's kind of like when you beat the game for the first time and then you get a bonus reward at the end. You get the post game, which is polyphony, even though you get it from the beginning, which is so cool. I love that. And now it can kind of be like a Juno 106, but weirder, you know? Let's put some effects on here. Let's put this on the master here. I'll just put it right here. Let's give it the classic Juno. Let's use their TAL chorus. TAL chorus LX. Check this out. Oh, baby. And you know, we gotta adjust it. I mean, FM, filter FM can always get kind of weird. Let's see. Yes, okay. Yeah. Let me see. Let's adjust it a little more. Ooh, full bubbly. Full bubbly mode. Listen to that. I love it so much. Okay. So, you know, why should you get this? I mean, I don't work for them, but I just might as well sum it up. I think if you, first of all, having an SH-101 clone in your arsenal is always a good thing, right? You can't go wrong with that. These days, I believe, oh my God, the, you know, an actual SH-101 used, let's check it out. SH-101, I'm seeing one on Reverb for $900. $1,000. You got the Behringer, which is $300, $329. You know what I mean? So like it goes, it kind of, the Behringer is a knockoff, you know, $1,500. I mean, you know, look, it's cool to have the real thing, but if we go to the TAL website and we look up their products right here, if my internet will load. Okay. TAL-BASSLINE-101. How much does this cost? Buy now. I already have it, but let's see how much it costs. 60 bucks. 60 bucks for a very, I think, very competent SH-101 clone. Is it going to sound exactly like the real thing? I don't know. And does anybody really care? You know? I mean, think about how convenient this is to just have a bunch of these, clone these. One can be your bass line, one can be your chords, one can be a lead. You can do a whole goddamn album with just this synth alone. It's fully capable, especially for funky sounds. Man, I think this is so cool. And for 60 bucks, that's very cheap. So anyway, I highly recommend this synth. Yeah, as far as styles, you could use this for a lot of stuff. I can see this for synthwave, funk, city pop, you know, but more than that. I mean, if you throw effects on there, it can be kind of a jack of all trades. And it's a lot of fun to use. A lot of cool tricks. So those are my basic thoughts on the TAL-BASSLINE-101. I think it's great, and I like how it all kind of comes together. Love the poly mode. Be sure to check out TAL Software. These guys are super cool. I love their UI design. I love their whole philosophy towards making products, and you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to have a plugin that you're actually going to want to use. You know, so many times we go out, we buy plugins that we never end up using, or it's too complicated. They make it real easy, and it sounds good. So I was pretty much done with the review, and then I don't really know why, but for some reason I was thinking, you know, it would be really cool to have a synthesizer controller, like specifically for plugins, that is set up like a synthesizer. Because as you may know, most MIDI controllers, they got like 4 knobs on top, 4 sliders somewhere randomly. None of them really have like, you know, oh, synth section, filter, LFO, all that stuff. So I Googled MIDI controller setup like a synthesizer, and you're not going to believe this. I found this. Exactly what I wanted. This is insane. Okay, so this is the SFC-101. It is literally a controller meant for the TAL-BASSLINE-101. It's by this company Soundforce. I had no idea what it was. I was looking into it. So I'll just show you right now. Let me pull up the plugin. And this is a 1-to-1 mapping of the plugin. And you've got some, I mean, all the features pretty much. The only ones that are missing are the ones that TAL added later, I think, like filter FM, volume compensation. That is still, you have to go click on that. But man, I mean, you know, for like poly mode here. Oh my God, it is so cool. So I emailed the guy, his name is Nicolas. It's just one dude who makes these. he told me apparently only like 25 of these were ever made. This SFC-101, I actually got it on Reverb for 150 bucks. But I was telling him, you know, man, you should really make like one for the Jupiter 8, you know, because that TAL J8 is coming out. And he goes, oh, I already am. And he shows me, you know, they're working on this Jupiter 8 controller. He also has controllers for the TAL Uno LX, which is the Juno 60 plugin. Super cool. It's got like this really nice wood sides, metal chassis. And he also has controllers for Moog plugins and Prophet style plugins. And I'm just in love with this idea, man. This is so cool because I think the main people who complain about plugins, usually what they say is, oh, you can't like connect with it, man. You know, it's just, there's no, the touch of an instrument. Well, there you go. Here it is. This is it. And this is going to make me want to use the plugin as much as possible. I have no excuse now. You know, usually I get fatigue of using plugins where I'm like, oh, I have to use my mouse and click and drag. Not anymore. I don't even have to look at my screen right now. Look. Let's give it some reverb. Because, you know, the Arpeggiator works too, which is so cool. Oh, I gotta click on the plugin, sorry. Wouldn't that be funny if it just didn't work at all? I have to say the build quality is great. I mean, you know, this is probably 5 years old, I'm assuming. It's plastic, but, you know, the knobs feel decent. So basically, I think this is awesome. You might think, oh, it's kind of silly to buy a controller for just one plugin. I don't think so, man. I think we're at the age now where the biggest hurdle with software is just convincing ourselves that it sounds good, and I think it does. I think we're at that point now where software sounds pretty damn good. And the only real complaint is you don't have that tactile control of a hardware controller, and this solves that problem, and the other products he's making solve that problem. I know when that Jupiter 8 thing comes out, I'm getting that first day, you know, because so many people want to have a Jupiter 8, but they don't want to spend $18,000. And I feel like, okay, you get the plug-in version, you get a controller. What's the difference? Really? It's all in your mind, you know? It's all in your mind, bro. Okay, that's going to be enough. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm going to have more synth review stuff. I want to cover all the TAL plugins eventually. And yeah, let's just keep having fun, keep making music, and keep being cool. Okay, that's it, guys. Peace.